So, first off, welcome to my channel. We are over here on a new YouTube channel, 21 Turnbuckles. I do a few videos on TikTok, which made me think, why not venture over to YouTube and spread my opinion that no one asked for and no one wanted to the YouTube community as well. So here we are. We're going to be getting on straight into the video today. Got a bit of fantasy booking for you. What a great way to start the channel than with a bit of fantasy booking, eh? So I'm going to jump straight into it. So as you can see by the title, this week's fantasy booking is called the Summer of the Scot. And if you can't tell by the title, this is of course based around Drew McIntyre. So Drew McIntyre is one of those superstars where sort of towards the start, middle of 2023, he was getting a bit stale. He had that great match at WrestleMania 39 with Sheamus and Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. But then he sort of tailed off after that. He didn't really do much of note. And there was actually rumours that he could be leaving the company once his contract expired, which I believe was due to expire a few weeks ago. However, things have developed, but we'll get into that later in the video. Now, of course, recently, with this man's arrival, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre has sort of found this new rejuvenance in his career, and it's all down to hating CM Punk, really. He's got this great sort of IWC complainer on Twitter gimmick. He's always tweeting, it's always great, and it's gotten Drew McIntyre over with the crowd in this heel persona. Now, of course, Drew McIntyre faced Seth Rollins at this year's WrestleMania and actually won the World Heavyweight title. However, his obsession with said CM Punk caused him to get attacked post-match, leading to Damian Priest cashing of the Money in the Bank contract, stealing the World Heavyweight Championship away from Drew. If you are from my TikTok, you will know I did predict this in a video, so give myself a pat on the back for that. However, as I said in that video, this was done to allow Drew McIntyre to win that title back at Clash at the Castle, which has obviously been announced for the 15th of June. Now, the reason I thought this was so obvious when the pay-per-view was announced is because it gives Damian Priest a chance to win the title, be a transitional champion, for Drew to win it back in front of his hometown in Scotland. Now, before we go into the actual booking, I do have to say, this isn't my idea. I did see a few other people mention this, but at the time, it was an idea that I came up with as well. And there has been, I think it has been announced that Drew McIntyre has signed a new deal. I think The Rock announced it by presenting him with a sword on Instagram. But we're still going to go ahead with it anyway. I think Drew McIntyre might actually have picked up an injury as well, which if it's true is a shame, because then that's Seth, Drew and Punk that are now injured in the World Heavyweight title picture. But this is the fantasy booking that I had in my mind if we were to get everyone on a clean bill of health and we were to go along the route of Drew McIntyre beats Damian Priest at Clash at the Castle and then they feud at SummerSlam. So my idea originally was obviously Damian Priest cashes in at WrestleMania, Drew McIntyre wins it back at Clash at the Castle in Scotland, and CM Punk then goes on to potentially beat Drew at SummerSlam. At least they have a match there, because their feud is obviously the first feud Punk is going to have when he is back from injury. Now, the reason this fantasy booking is called the Summer of the Scot is because anyone who is a fan of CM Punk will know he had that infamous Summer of Punk angle back in 2011. And with Drew McIntyre's contract coming to an end soon in real life, I feel like this was a perfect opportunity to do this story right. And when I say do it right, they dropped the ball with what the Summer of Punk story could have been back in 2011. Obviously, CM Punk had that amazing match with John Cena at Money in the Bank 2011, blowing a kiss to Vince as he left the company through the crowd with the WWE Championship, everything up in the air. The place was chaotic. Now, with that said, CM Punk actually signed a deal that night, and a week later on Raw, he was actually back. So they didn't really capitalise on what they could have done. However, today's WWE under Triple H is willing to do a lot more risky stuff. Now, the way I would do this is, as you're leading up to Clash at the Castle, start dropping it in on commentary. Drew McIntyre's contract's up soon. Will he re-sign? He's going for the world title, but he's not actually contracted to the WWE. You've got to plant that seed in the audience's mind that Drew could actually win the title and walk out if he wanted to. However, this time, not similar to what CM Punk did, actually have Drew win the title, walk out through the crowd. He can blow a kiss again to the camera, similar to CM Punk. And it sort of keeps their stories intertwined then. Obviously, Drew McIntyre's whole last few months has been trying to do anything better than what CM Punk can do. He took his WrestleMania moment. He went for the title in the title match that Punk was supposed to have. So I feel like Drew winning the championship and walking out through the crowd, but doing it better, is the perfect way for him in character to one-up CM Punk. We've also seen in recent Royal Rumbles that the WWE are not scared of working with other companies. They've obviously had Mickie James in the Royal Rumble when she was TNA champion. They had Jordynne Grace in this year's Royal Rumble while she's still contracted to TNA. And I really think they could use this link well. We've not seen WWE work with other companies much before. However, if you believe recent reports, then apparently they are open to doing so. What a perfect way this would be. Have Drew McIntyre go to TNA, have him go to maybe some smaller indie promotions, have him defend WWE's World Heavyweight Championship outside the company. Now you're probably thinking, why would that benefit WWE? Why would they allow one of their world champions to wrestle on another promotion? But it makes perfect sense. It builds up that anticipation and sort of fades the line between kayfabe and reality. Is Drew actually out of contract and just going behind what WWE want? And then it builds that sort of anticipation for when Drew does return. He's defended the title all over the globe. Have him go to Japan. Have him do this for a couple of months if you need to. SummerSlam is usually around August, so if he wins it in June, he can have up until the start of August away from the company, uncontracted, defending this title. And it does build the title's reputation. Who else can say that they've defended the title against TNA stars, some of the big indie names, some Japanese names? And then obviously when Drew McIntyre does come back, he has this prestigious championship. And what they can tell is maybe CM Punk does something similar to what John Cena did back in 2011. Maybe you have another tournament for a new world title after a couple of months once they realise maybe Drew's not coming back. Have CM Punk win that new title, and then again, similar to how CM Punk did, Drew McIntyre can come back and say, well, as much as I don't want to be signed to WWE, I can't have you being a world champion in the promotion. So I'm coming back and I'm coming to unify these world titles. And then there you have it. You have the build that you need for SummerSlam. You've got Drew McIntyre, who is returning to the company, so the anticipation will be there for his first match back. And then you've got CM Punk, who is, after all these years, in a match trying to restore honour back to WWE. It's almost poetic. It sort of comes full circle in the sense of you had CM Punk over 13 years ago, 12 years ago, however long it was, trying to make this change, trying to do what Drew McIntyre's going to do, and then Drew McIntyre can come back and say, you tried to do what I'm doing 12 years ago and you couldn't even do it as well as I can. And then it sort of gives you that. I mean, the feud itself has been great. Using Punk while he's injured has been a masterstroke, and I really do hope that Drew McIntyre's injury isn't too severe and we do get this match. And we obviously got robbed of Punk, Seth Rollins at Mania, but I also think that also was a good thing in maybe a blessing in disguise, because it sort of brought Drew to this main event scene. And now I'm more looking forward, if I'm honest, to Punk v Drew at SummerSlam than I was at the time for Punk v Rollins at WrestleMania. I'm sure they would have had a great program and it would have been interesting, but as things currently stand, I am more in anticipation for Drew v Punk. And I think, like I said earlier, these stories intertwining and Drew having this one-up on Punk, I did it better than you, plays into the character perfectly. Now, obviously, there is a few flaws to it. Like I said, I think Drew is now re-signed to the company. They could still play with it in kayfabe. We also have this story of Would WWE want to have their world title defended on other promotions? Maybe not. I think it would be a great idea, but who knows? Like I said, they are the mega house. They are the ones that everyone wants to emulate, so they don't need to. But again, like I said, it would make for an interesting program, and it's certainly something that I could see happening down the line. So that concludes the first episode on this YouTube channel. I know obviously it wasn't the greatest video, but I am just getting started. So if you would like to hear more fantasy booking, I am going to try and get some WWE 2K24 videos done for this channel as well. And let me know what other sort of content you're looking for. I'm a big WWE fan. I do like a bit of the AEW as well. Don't watch that too much recently, but I am just getting this channel started. So whatever content people want to see, I'd be more than happy to give it a go. So let me know in the comments what you thought of this fantasy booking. If you have any fantasy bookings you'd like me to do in a future video. I do have a couple of more in mind, so I will try and do hopefully one a week, if not every 2 weeks. But yeah, give me a subscribe, obviously, to the new channel. Give me a comment if you can, and a like on the video. It would be much appreciated. And I will leave the link to my TikTok in there as well. I do try and upload there daily. But yeah, that's been great. Thank you.